What's up, YouTube? So I'm gonna go over kind of what I consider like basic camping equipment, basic things you might want or need, primarily need when going out on a camping trip. The first thing up is gonna be your pack. I have an Osprey Kestrel, 48 liters. Comes with all these neat features. It's got two deep pockets here on the side for water bottles. It has a pouch down here with a zipper for your sleeping system or anything else you may choose to stow in there. That's typically where I keep my sleeping system, my sleeping bag, whatever, etc. Cinch down the top pouch. The top pouch has two pockets. It has this top one, this one here in the back. It's real easy if you just drop your pack, open it up. This is like things you may need like immediately. I have some toilet paper in there right now in a plastic baggie. So I'm not carrying a full toilet paper roll, but you don't want to. You need something to wipe your butt, And then right here in the top pouch, it has this mesh pocket with a clip. This is typically where I keep things that I need to access right away. This would be like a small, easily foldable rain poncho or fire starters, etc. Things of that nature. And then you have the main pocket. So you can cinch things down pretty tight in here. I won't go too into detail with it. For the most part, I'm still kind of exploring this pack. I haven't had it very long, but this is what I will be using going forward for my outdoor adventures. One of the other things I carry on every camping trip I go on is 550 paracord. This stuff is great. You just string it between two trees, throw a tarp over it for shelter, or tie down things. You use it for really anything. You got to tie something together. You got to tie two sticks, make a tripod. Use it for shelters. Use it for whatever you may need it. Great thing to have. Would definitely recommend that you have this with you. Will definitely come in handy. Another thing I kind of carry is tent stakes. I have these 4 tent stakes that I use to stake out my tarp, but I keep them wrapped up in this section of paracord. This is kind of a neat thing that one of my good friends showed me. You can loop this end. You have a couple of S-clips, some 550 paracord, a bottle cap, and then another S-clip at the other end. What you do is you loop this around a tree and then tie it back on itself like so. So that tightens down. Then you loop this around this end, also around a tree. You can do it around a pole that you stuck in the ground, or camera tripod, or something similar. And then between the two lengths, essentially what you do is you just pull on this bottle cap, which acts as a cam, and you can tighten down or loosen this section. This is great for if you need to make a lean-to or an A-frame type shelter. I'll do a little video on how to make these, and I'll throw the link down below. One of the most important parts about camping and being out in the wilderness in general is acquiring water and water purification. For that reason, I have 2 different water filters. One's just your generic live straw, and I think the other's the same. But these are great. Definitely something you need. I would consider this a need in your camping equipment. If you get sick or if you aren't able to procure water, your water runs out, you're fucked. Pardon my French, but you're fucked. Water is an absolute necessity. You can last like 3 days without water, but I've done similar. I've tried to go as long as I can without water, and it sucks. Absolutely fucking sucks. So I would consider water purification and means of acquiring water an absolute fucking need. Of the 3 pillars that people consider to be the most important when it comes to outdoor survival, the first is water, the second is shelter, and I'll go over that, but the third is fire. So fire, shelter, water. For that reason, I carry long burn matches. I have 2 different waterproof containers, and inside it's just a plastic container with a little bit of cotton and some matches. There's a strip along the outside of this container where you strike the match, and this doesn't take up very much space at all. You could get away with just this, which is fine. That's more than doable. I would also recommend having a secondary measure, a different set of matches. If you're camping and you're not expecting super wet weather, these would be great. Long burn to get that fire going. I have a secondary case of, it's basically the same as that first case, but that secondary measure is a little bit of steel and magnesium. So this is another way to spark matches, get that fire going right near your shelter. Very important to have. Kind of gone over water procurement and starting a fire. I think the third pillar of that outdoor survival is a shelter. This is my issue tarp from work, hence the color. It's actually not a bad color. I'd probably go with something similar to Marpat anyway, or digital camo. It's 5 by 6 feet or something similar, something close to that. Might even be bigger than that. Might be 6, like 10. I don't know. I don't know the exact dimensions. I don't really care. This is big enough for 1, maybe 2 people. I solo camp, so that's, it's great for me. I've only ever needed to make a solo person shelter, so this works great. As far as shelter, you take 550 paracord and string between 2 trees or 2 rocks. You can use rocks, and then throw this over and make a shelter, take it down. So shelter to keep the rain off, and keep the elements out, stay out of the elements a little bit. I think that's very, very important. Start a fire, procure some water, and you'll be just fine, right? So I'll do another video on tarp shelters and different ways to do that, different knots you can use to tie that 550 paracord. So yeah, stand by for that. Another extremely important thing that I think everyone should have with them while camping is a first aid kit. This is just a pretty basic medical kit I picked up from REI. None of this, quick disclaimer, none of this stuff is sponsored. This is all just stuff that I've either been issued or I bought it with my own money. But yeah, quick, first aid kit is very, very important. And this one, comes with this nice case. It just keeps it all compact. And you can see I haven't opened it, but you got basic antibiotic ingredient, ointment, some safety pins, some gauze, just your basic first aid kit. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. Something to fix up scrapes and bruises, really, cuts and bruises, whatever. There's more extensive first aid kits out there that you could definitely buy, and I would almost recommend it, depending on your own medical training. For me, this is, for my training, for my level of training, I'm combat lifesaver certified, but that's about it. I've always been a little more interested in putting holes in people than fixing holes. So I know how to fix it. I know how to save a life. I know how to fix a bullet wound, but that's about it. So basic wounds that you're gonna experience while camping, this will cover it. That's what I know how to do. Something that's kind of nice to have, and I think kind of goes into water procurement, is the ability to boil water. And for that, I have a jet boil. Well, an off-brand jet oil, excuse me, and a gas canister. This is great. Just throw some water in here, throw it on, screw it onto this. It says cap on it, but you just screw it in the bottom, and the mount that it screws on is inside. You just boil some water, and then if you need to, say you need to stitch somebody up, that like real extreme scenario, but if you needed to use a sewing needle to stitch somebody up while out in the wilderness because they got a pretty deep cut or whatever, sterilize the needle in boiling water, or if you need whatever injuries, boil water, it cleans it, it's great for first aid, and use your approach pain take. Jet boil, it has some weight, but it's nothing crazy. Just go to the fucking gym, right? And you'll be just fine. It's kind of hard to start a fire without firewood. For that, I have this camp saw. It locks in place. You lift this up. There's a small ledge right here that you'll see. This piece just locks over it, and it locks down so that saw blade won't close on you, so you can process firewood. And then you just close it. Easy day. You just throw this in your pack. Another thing I think is super important is a camp knife of some kind. This one's not super sharp. I do need to sharpen this. This is the Deer Stalker by 310 Forge. I've had this for a couple of years now. It came with this custom leather sheath, so you just throw this on your belt and just kind of doesn't leave it super exposed. The retention isn't like fantastic. It will slide out if dumped upside down, but for the most part, like it'll stay in there if it's just hanging up like this. Decent knife. You know, it's not gonna break on you if you're just using it to process firewood. Just different camp activities, whatever you may be doing. So I would strongly suggest having some form of a camp knife. The other option I would recommend for a camp knife, so I would definitely recommend having a camp knife. One of the other options I have for camp knives is this Gerber. This is more of a tactical option, but you know, it's still the same full tang blade, tough, sharp. It is serrated, so if you need to saw through something, no big deal. Comes with this plastic sheath that you can strap to your belt and run either horizontal or vertical. Great, I've used this knife a lot. I really like it. It's got a nice firm grip, and you can use this for camping and camp activities. I would recommend something like the Deer Stalker by 310 Forge over this for camp activities. That's a skinning knife that you know, great for skinning animals. This is more of just like a big, brutal, heavy knife that is effective, don't get me wrong, but it's not what I would recommend. That being said, like, disclaimer, like I'm not a survival expert or anything. I know a few things. I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two and I've done a thing or two, right? Take my word with a grain of salt. Go figure out what works best for you, and you know, if there's something you think would work better than what I've suggested, definitely leave a comment. Those are always, I take comments with a grain of salt, but I also take them as effective feedback, and I like reading those. So go ahead and leave a comment if you think there's something I can improve on, or if something I said was inaccurate, or you think I can do something better, or something you think would work better than what I've suggested, right? All that. Yeah, anyway. The last thing I'm gonna go over in your basic camping setup is a sleeping pad. Is this mandatory? Is this necessary? No, I wouldn't. If you're trying to save on weight and space, I would say leave this at home. Sand, if you're camping in a desert environment, sand is not the worst option. It's just not known for being super soft to lay on. If you're camping in a kind of a wooded, like a wooded environment, like up in the mountains, up like in the forest, I'm sure you can probably go find some pine needles that lay down, some pine boughs, or some some leaves off a tree, like those will work much better than this and be just as comfortable. That will save you a lot of space in your pack and a lot of weight if that's something you're concerned about. If weight's not an issue and space isn't a concern, absolutely bring one of these. This is, it's an extra layer between you and the ground. If you don't know, the ground sucks out body heat, and none of us want to be cold, So, yeah. Anyway, guys, that's kind of my take on basic camping gear that you may want or need, primarily need for a camping trip. If there's something you think I forgot or something you think I should add, or you think someone else might benefit from, go ahead and drop it in the comments. Other than that, folks, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'll see you in the next one.